For the last several hours, I have been driving on Interstate 95 south toward Florida. I started my journey off in the state of North Carolina this morning. Made it through South Carolina, which I didn't think I was ever going to make it through South Carolina. To be such a small looking state on a map, my gosh, when it's time to actually drive through the state, it just feels like it takes forever, just hours and hours. But now I am very happy that I have made it to Georgia. Georgia, you have been on my mind. We are here at the Georgia Welcome Center. We're going to step inside and go say hello to Forrest Gump, just inside these doors. Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitchhiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really do appreciate you tagging along with me. Today we're going to be here in the state of Georgia, traveling toward Florida, and we're going to exit the interstate here shortly after about another 20 minutes or so to the south. And then we're going to hit some back roads, look at some roadside attractions, check out some small towns, some of the little communities. It's off kind of hidden in the nooks and crannies of Georgia. I love hitting the back roads of these states when I'm traveling through them. And I love bringing you along with me to see what we can see. I'm sure we're going to see some neat stuff. Thank you once again. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to do so by heading inside the Welcome Center and saying hello to Mr. Gump. So I have made it inside of the Georgia Welcome Center, and unfortunately Forrest Gump is not here. This is the first time I've ever stepped foot in here and not seen the Forrest Gump statue sitting on the park bench from the movie Forrest Gump, you know, when he says the famous lines, "Life's like a box of chocolates." Well, supposedly Forrest Gump is at this location. He is on vacation at Tabby Island, which is also a famous location here in Georgia that people love to go and vacation to. And if you want to know how I know he's on vacation, right here is the bench, and there is no Forrest Gump here, just a picture left behind of Mr. Gump and this message right here. Forrest Gump is vacationing on Tabby. Kind of a sad moment. All right, so we're going to say so long to the Georgia Welcome Center and move on down the interstate a little bit further before we ditch the interstate and hit our back roads. Kind of wish that, I was really hoping that the Forrest Gump would be here, because me and my wife has my little 3-year-old niece with us, and this is her first time out of the state of North Carolina. Was hoping big time that we could take some pictures with her on the Forrest Gump bench along with Forrest, but unfortunately it was not meant to be today. Another day perhaps. Okay, let's continue on down into the depths of Georgia. All right, now I have made my way about 40 miles into Georgia. I feel like I'm in the belly of the beast now. I have exited off Interstate 95, and this is our first stop. Smallest church in America, Christ Chapel in Memory Park. Visitors welcome. It's a non-denominational church, and this has got to be one of the cutest little churches I have ever seen. Almost 10 months ago, I was in Whitwell, Virginia, and came across a similar church, but I don't know if it was quite as small as this church. And I really don't know if it is truly the smallest church in America or not, but self-proclaimed, that's what the sign says. All right, so I've made my way down here next to the church. Get a little bit closer look. Got this cool little bell tower down here. It's very small. Has a little scripture right here. May this bell ring out as praise to the Lord. So now we're just gonna walk inside and let me show you what the church looks like. The smallest church in America. As we walk in, it's really, really cool. Little light fixture up there, and I love the stained glass. That's just a cool little detail. It's pretty awesome. As hot as it is outside, you would think it would be kind of warm in here, but it's not bad at all. It feels very cool. Maybe somebody said a prayer to cool this place off. Got a lot of messages and notes on here. Little keepsakes that people has left behind. And if I remember correctly, last time I was here, I think you can come up here on this like pulpit where the Bibles are. Used to have like a place where you can sign your name. Right here they have their Bible. Preacher could just stand up here and do a whole sermon to the congregation of 12 folks and maybe standing room, who knows. And this right here is the paper where you can sign your name. You can see some people that signed their name in the past here. Matter of fact, if this is the same book from 2 years ago, which it probably is not, you'd find my name in here. All right, so that's it. That is the America's smallest church. Cool little roadside attraction here, not too far off Interstate 95. You can venture to. All right, so now we're going to say our goodbyes to America's smallest church. This is absolutely beautiful location. I love this spot right here. And now we're going to head a little bit further south on the back roads toward Brunswick, Georgia, and kind of see what we can get into. We might make a stop or two before we get to Brunswick, though. Just have to bear with me there. We might see something really cool. We might have to stop and check it out. So let's carry on. All right, folks, I have made my way down Highway 17. The first stop is a little place called Darien, Georgia. And I'm here at the Old Jail Art Center. I'm thinking this structure right here used to be the old jail back in the day, and now it's like an art exhibit. But check out this awesome boat they have right here. This is so freaking cool. This here is the historic vessel known as Kit Jones, which was built in 1939. And over the life of this ship, it was a tugboat, it was a ferry boat, a freight hauler, a fireboat during World War II. That is pretty cool. But it was unfortunately in Biloxi, Mississippi. It was dry docked and retired back in 2013, and our fate sadly appeared to be in the scrapyard. Then in April of 2017, a nonprofit group, Friends of the Kit Jones, actually purchased the boat and brought it back here. And now they're kind of fixing her up because she's really important to this community, which I think is pretty daggone awesome. I've always had a thing for boats, a little soft spot for boats. And I was driving right down here. This here is actually Highway 17. I was driving this direction, and I'm glad I stopped now because number one, this is an awesome boat, but look at the trees. I guess these are live oaks. These things are beautiful with all the Spanish moss. I mean, it's just everywhere around town. Right here, we're actually standing beneath one at the moment. Absolutely gorgeous. So I think now, since I'm here in Darien, we're not too far from my goal of making it to Brunswick, Georgia. Not too far away. I think we're going to go over here to Darien and kind of look around the riverfront area before we cross the bridge and spend just a little bit of time here in Darien. I think this is going to be a good stop. I'm really fascinated already. All right, so I made my way over here to the corner of Walton Street and Broad Street here in downtown Darien. And this is an awesome little place, man. This is so cute here. Kind of gives you those Micanopy, Florida vibes a little bit. And the only reason I really say it because I was in Micanopy just last month doing a little back road type of small town video down there. And this in here is called Broad Street Antiques. And Micanopy has had a lot of antique shops in it. And speaking of antique shops, I just spoke to a local. Well, supposedly they was a local, and I asked them about what used to be here, and they said, well, if you look at the floor, it's kind of a dead giveaway. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, look how it's shaped, how it slopes downhill. This right here, I think, used to be a theater, but sadly has now been torn down and removed. This is a cool little funky spot. Blue Bay Mexican Grill. Got a screened in porch over there to keep the bugs off of you because you are in the South. It is summertime, even though luckily today it's about 87 degrees at the moment. And bugs and mosquitoes is not a problem yet. So hopefully I won't have to fight them off any today as we move toward Brunswick. But my goodness, look at this place. Look at this building. It's called Tabby Brewing Company. That is fascinating. Look, I love the architecture of this building for sure. All these buildings in here just have a lot of age to them. Really something else, really cool. Let's make our way down to the waterfront now and see what we can see down there. All right, so I made my way down here to these wild looking ruins. These like walls, almost looks like a foundation of places from the past. But you see that Tabby Brewing Company up there. Well, these walls right here, these structures are known as the Tabby Ruins, which I think is pretty cool. So just to give you a little backstory of what this is, or what this is made out of, the Tabby Ruins is the remains of a structure built with tabby concrete, a unique construction material made of oyster shells, lime, and sand, which I think is pretty awesome. So when you kind of get closer to it, you can really see like the shells, crushed up shells. It's very abrasive. But my goodness, that is pretty cool. I wish I knew what this used to be. That would be even better, but there was a lot of it. And it was located right here on the waterfront. And right here's the bridge. It takes you toward Brunswick, which is the way we're going to be going here momentarily once we finish up here. They have some underground cables here that you might want to be kind of careful of. High voltage underground cable. And look back there in the grass. Looks like a cannon, like some kind of historic cannon or something, just kind of laying back there up against that wall. As I'm looking over here to the right, there's more of these ruins that's kind of left behind all up on this embankment right here. But luckily we have a little placard right here, gives us a little information. This is known as the Tabby Ruins, remains of the warehouses, shops, and taverns which served the timber and shipping industries of the town of Darien. 1810 to 1830. Some really historic little relics we found here today in this little small town. All right, now I've made my way beneath the bridge. I want to walk through here, number one, because it feels so good. It's so cool out here. But check out this cool mural beneath the bridge. There's a mural in town. I will try to find it for you. That is pretty cool. It's like a sunrise or sunset, possibly. Who knows which direction it is. It does look like there's land, so I'm going to say that's a sunset right there. Have the ocean, have some sea creatures and things that you would find at the beach. Look right here, they got some sand dollars, alligators, all different types of fish. We got red drum, spot-tail bass. Okay, so now I have made my way down the walking path right here behind me, just a little bit further, and I think I just hit the jackpot here in Darien. One of the most beautiful tree structures, shade trees, because it is like 87 degrees at the moment, you know, and it's not even noon yet. But look at the root system. Look at some of the Tabby Ruins that's going on right here that we've seen earlier. There's more of it here that extends on down, but this tree is absolutely beautiful. Look at all this beautiful Spanish moss. You know, don't ever touch it. Don't play in Spanish moss. I don't even know if it's a good idea to do what I'm doing right now, to stand underneath it, but the shade is feeling amazing right now. But I do want to point out the roots of this tree. They are caressing these ruins. They have just grown onto it and grab a hold of the ruins, and now it's like they're all one piece. This is freaking awesome. All right, so now I walked up the steps next to the tree just a little bit, just to give you a little side viewage of the ruins and the tree, how it is kind of draped over the Tabby Ruins right here, the wall. That is so cool. And I may or may not have found out where the bugs are. I think the bugs, the mosquitoes and things like that, possibly, they might like it in the shadows. Out here in the sun, not a big problem. I did notice when I was over there filming, I could hear, maybe it was no-see-ums, I'm not sure, buzzing around my ears, things like that. So maybe it's just time to wrap it up here in Darien and hit the road and move on toward Brunswick, Georgia. It's an awesome find today. Never been to Darien, really cool. I'm glad I stopped by and checked out this little community. They got a lot to be proud of, man. This is pretty awesome, man. I love coming to places like this and finding little nuggets like this right here, just filled with goodness. Okay, so as soon as we cross the bridge here, leaving Darien on 17 going toward Brunswick, I come across this old brick structure right here, and this is the old Butler Island Plantation rice mill, and the chimney to that rice mill is right there. That is pretty freaking cool. When I was first making my way down through here, I thought, is that old lighthouse or something like that? But no, it is not. And right here is a better shot of the chimney. And that thing is really, really tall. I mean, that's every bit of, what, 70, 80 feet tall chimney to the old rice mill right here off of Highway 17. All right, welcome to the town of Brunswick. This location that I just landed in, we pulled up in. This here is called Brunswick Harbor Market at Merrill L. Ross Park. And this is really cool right over here because this pot was supposedly the first pot that Brunswick stew was actually made in. In this pot, the first Brunswick stew was made on St. Simon Isle, July 2nd, 1898. So any of you guys out there who likes Brunswick stew, this is all you. I've never tried Brunswick stew. Maybe I'll do it sometime soon. But that right there is supposedly the old pot that it all took place in right there. All right, so here I am. We're in downtown Brunswick. This is going to be pretty cool, really awesome town. It is so hot today. It's about 91 at the moment. It is smoking out here. But I definitely want to go over here and look at some of these ghost signs on the side of this building. Got some really interesting looking storefronts right here. So we're going to go jump into that and wrap our video up today. But there's still one more tree I got to show you or see for myself before we leave town. Really awesome looking tree here in Brunswick that's kind of well known. So this right here is Newcastle Street here in town. The main thoroughfare runs through the town here. But check out this awesome ghost sign right here on the side of this building. That is so cool. It says the famous Bluebird Cafe, 1 block. And the arrow is pointing in this direction down through here. These look legit. You know, these have not been touched up or anything. They just really, really look old. Right here's the old furniture and carpets. We sell it for less. Yeah, that's pretty awesome also. All right, so now I've made my way over here just off of Richmond Street. And I found this really cool welcome to Brunswick, Georgia signage. Like that a lot. We're going to continue down Richmond Street because there are some really old looking storefronts down the way. Start off with this building. These buildings here has got some real age to them. Look at that right there, that window, how it kind of circularly kind of sticks out of the building. That looks pretty awesome. Very old looking structures all the way down through here, especially right here next to this Echo outdoor power equipment, Tate Lawn Products. Look at the one right next to that roof where the bricks kind of go up in square shape up there. It almost looks like it was like an old jail from Western days, you know, or something. I don't know. That looks pretty wild looking. It's got some bars up there on the windows. That's pretty fascinating. Done a lot of work on that building over the years because you can see these openings was much bigger than they bricked them in. And I can't wait. We're going to walk across the street down here and check out some more buildings that look even older than these that we just gazed upon. first made my way back here to Richmond Street, right here is the ghost signs that we've seen. And I wanted to kind of make my way down through here in this vicinity. Look at the walls. It's got shells in it. Kind of looks like that Tabby Ruins that we seen earlier today. This whole wall was just got all kind of shells in it, just like that. That really shows the age of this old town. And check this out right here. This is old RX City drugstore right here. Even got ferns and stuff. It's kind of growing along the building on the bricks. Check out the mural on this wall here. This is called Tipsy McSway's. Have a lot of, looks like a lot of jazz going on. A little bit of jazz music. I also see a hamburger right there. Yeah, that's right. You know me, I'm not letting a hamburger escape from the photo, or my belly for that matter. All right, I made my way down here to this location. This is called Ned Cash and Associates. This is a jeweler store. At least on the back side it's out of commission, but notice the walls here. Very reminiscent to earlier. Once again, these are just like crushed seashells, lime, sand to make their structures. Another really old building, I would guess. Right here at Ned Cash and Associates jewelry store. All right, now I'm over here back on the Main Street area. This cute little area right here is called Jekyll Square. Very beautiful. A lot of nice landscaping here in the downtown area. I love the streets. Kind of reminds me of Windermere, Florida a little bit. But that's going to pretty much wrap it up for the most part here in Brunswick, Georgia. Really neat little town, very beautiful, picturesque. But we're not done yet. You cannot come to this town and not go feast your eyes upon Lover's Oak. That's something that you got to do, and that's what we're going to do. That is one of the main reasons I showed up here today, is to go check out Lover's Oak, and then we're going to wrap it up. It's been a good day. Definitely getting hot. This is a good time to start wrapping up the video because the heat is starting to become what's a good descriptive word? Sweltering comes to mind. All right, I made it. This is Lover's Oak, said to date back to the 12th century. This is located on the intersection of Albany and Prince Streets here in historic downtown Brunswick. According to local legend, Native American braves and their maidens met under the majestic spreading limbs of this oak tree. And people in 2005 estimated the oak tree to be 900 years old. The tree trunk is about 13 feet in diameter, and the branches into 10 limbs measuring 13 to 30 inches in diameter. And I believe it. These limbs are freaking massive. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the angel oak. It's not as big, the one that's in Charleston, South Carolina, but it's pretty daggone impressive. And it's very knotty, like naughty. Maybe it's the Lover's Oak, you know, look at all the knots right here. And maybe it's naughty, but knotty, you know. Kind of like Austin Powers, he was naughty. But look at all the knots on this tree. And that almost looks like a face right there. Can't quite figure out what that is. You know, when you look at clouds, sometimes you can see faces. But that's a very interesting looking face going on right there. Almost like maybe an ape or a monkey or something. I don't know. But this is a very impressive tree. A lot of beautiful Spanish moss. And it's a trip when you back out. When you back out and you look at the bottom of the tree, the trunk. Like over here, it's not really a problem, but on this side, look how it just kind of darts out into the road right here. People driving, you have to really stay to the right here. This street has parking, like street side parking, but right here in front of this house will be kind of hard to do it because, you know, the tree just says no. This is my area. I've been here longer than you, and you're going to go around. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, this is a really awesome tree. I'm glad I stopped by here to see the lover's oak. Just look at all the ferns growing on the tree. Yeah, man, that's wild. Love stuff like this. Really, really cool. All right, my friends, I think this is as good a spot as any to kind of wrap up the video today. The bugs are really starting to come out to get me, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I think this is a good way to end it right here at Lover's Oak. This is a very spectacular location here in Brunswick. All right, my friends, until next time, I am the Hitchhiking Yeti, and I will see you in my next adventure. This has been a good one today. Hope y'all stay safe, and I hope to see you all again soon, because the mosquitoes are out. They are coming. I'm like swatting them. They're getting angry, and I think my wife's ready to eat, so we're going to check out. Thank you so much again for watching. I will see you next time. So long to the majestic limbs and trunk and tree all together now of Lover's Oak. That is so cool.